What is this all about here?
We're only here to have this conversation with you because we love you, right? So Diallo is getting us, all of us, accused of Islamophobia.
Black revolutionary, taking the sisters that support you for granted.
What are you talking about?
I love the Muslims. What Islamophobia am I connected to here?
Diallo getting all of us called Islamophobic. Go ahead, Diallo. We trying to have this intervention with you because we love you. We're not mad at you, but what's going on with you, man? Tell us your side.
This guy came on and called me Islamophobic and an Orientalist.
Woo!
Last week when you weren't here. And Geechee was like, yeah, you are, and supported dude. And was like, yeah, Diallo, you are Islamophobic. Remember when we had those Arabized Negroes on here talking nonsense and you wasn't nice to them? And then dude went and made a video and was like, yeah, Diallo called Islamophobic by his own co-host, and he still doubles down, right? And then the dude said in that same line, well, Geechee's Islamophobic too. And I said, that's what you get, because you're trying to reason with the irrational, and you tried to double down.
You talking about Arturo dude?
Yeah, that dude.
Slur. Somebody called me a name, and then you validated, and you got hit with the stray.
No. Okay, my
but
turn.
Before you descend into the beef, real quick, let me just say real quick, Arturo is not he's not a genuine interlocutor. This dude, he got at me and Todd. He called me a liberal Zionist in one of his videos. So this dude is not. And then when he showed up in the chat a couple weeks ago when I was here, I invited him to engage and he dipped out. So this dude is not. He's out here. He is.
Right,
and I want to big time him like Roland Martin big time.
Jared, but
he's over here with his 6 and 7 views.
It's important.
Wait. Jared,
no. You already had your chance,
though, and I'll give it over to you after this. But I gotta say this though, Jared. Imagine if he came on and called you a liberal Zionist, and you were like, "What?" And then I jumped in and was like, "You are kind of liberal and Zionist. You got a little Zionism on you." Little Zionism stink on you. So it wasn't that this dude was making outlandish and absurdist claims. It's the fact that Geechee rubber stamped what the dude said. That was my issue. I don't care about what some random
your principal self
that he would want to try out in the chat. I don't give a fuck about
your
that.
Principal self, where you only listen to one side.
You is the little phobia, and I'm like, word. That's what's my problem.
Jared, and your principal stand, do you listen to one side or both? Both.
Well, I want to see the tape though. I missed that part of the show.
You answer for him. That's crazy.
You only want to listen to one side?
No, I want to hear your side. I want to see the tape.
Okay. So what happened was, and Skip was there to attest. Once Diallo said phobia, and he said, I don't have an irrational fear, whatever. I'm not irrational. And I say, there are times when you are irrational. And that's exactly what I said. And you can go watch the tape. Especially when he's talking about even people who are revolutionary, but also are Christian or Islamic people, or people who practice Islam. So that's what I was saying. And that's what I said. I ain't saying nothing about anything else. I asked him what his definition of it, and I said there are times when you are irrational. That's what I said. But you know, Diallo got that air thing, right?
Dude didn't say I was irrational. He said
no. See, Diallo got that air thing. He did it again. I said, Diallo, what do you call Islam? You said,
which side are you on? Whose side was you on?
I ain't on nobody's side. I'm on the revolution side. Revolution. That's the side I'm on. So if your ass on the wrong side, I ain't with you. But anyway. That's what I asked.
Glad he called you Islamophobic too. When you were trying to get in bed,
because you brought me down with you.
Out. Your feet was cold, your nails was long, and he kicked you out of the bed. And
y'all see us trying to have this intervention. That's what happens in interventions.
That's what you get.
Well, how did you think the intervention was going to go? I was actually trying to scroll through the other video real quick to see if there was a tag on it, like because. I don't remember seeing that part.
It out. You know how Geechee mess around with in his little digital tricks.
Now I'm getting accused of all kind of stuff. Diallo, what kind of mudslinging fest this is, man? Anyway,
but
let's
next time somebody attacks me, if you
they
can't be on my side, remain neutral.
Listen, I wasn't on their side, and I wasn't
yes,
attacking.
You was. The dude said you was on his side, and if he wasn't such a scumbag, I'd play back what he said.
You talking about he said? That mean it's true?
You want to play back?
Umar said he the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Is that true?
Yeah. Jump to Umar because you got to lose this exchange.
No.
Jump over to Dr.
Okay,
Umar.
here we go. Hold on a second. I think I found. Let's take it to the tape.
If I had to get candy, I want a sour candy before sweet.
Wait, what? I don't get down like that.
Yeah, what is going on here?
That is allowed for a justified theory.
I do like brownies and shit like that. So honestly, I don't like sugar, but if I had to get candy, I want a sour candy before sweet. What the fuck? We talk about
pause.
I'm talking about them shit that twisting your neck and eyes up. This
is your conversation. I'm trying to get
but
to
you
the
had
part
too many M&Ms.
where
Drop that
you
shit.
pull up the comment.
Last one.
Here we go.
Yeah, Diallo is an Orientalist and an Islamophobe.
Yeah. I say all the time, some things are so heinous that when you tell the truth about them, people feel that you're attacking it. A phobia is an irrational fear. Am I being irrational when I talk about Islamicists colonizing, torturing, mutilating?
Well, sometimes. I can tell you why. I can tell you why. Let me tell you why. I think you become irrational when you are speaking to individuals like a Skip, a Jackie, a Salifu, a Musa, who are as radical and sometimes more radical than you in their politics, and you are
reactionary in their faith. I don't know how that works.
You might be reactionary in that instance, right?
I'm not intelligent enough to hold.
No. What I'm saying is, you asked me. You asked me, are you being irrational? And I was just explaining to the irrational part. So the irrational part is you're gonna spend time trying to debate people who you should even be, well, you do look at as comrades who are engaged in the same work that you're in, and are very clear politically where you need to go. So if it becomes a fight and it's time to go down,
yes,
a lot of your atheist friends probably ain't gonna show up for you.
All right, so what I saw in that little bit right there, Geechee, my man, I think you make a good point in the end, but the timing of it does come across like you supported old boy. Like you clarify it at the end. So this is what I'm saying about these bad actors we allow in our space, because you let this bad actor drop this comment in there and mess up the setup and detract from what could have been a more sensible conversation. Because whatever you were right in saying about Diallo's engagement with Salifu and whoever else is lost in the context of you having this dude's comment on the screen saying he's an Islamophobe, and letting that be the jump off point and saying that you agree that Diallo is irrational at times. I was like, wow.
I take that.
But my bias really starts at it being this dude, this comment that gets that's starting all of this liberal Zionist. How dare he? But no, in that clip, just playing it that way, it does look like it's like, come on, man.
I'm sorry, Diallo.
Apology rejected.
Irrational. That's my point. Irrational.
You know, this is all on tape. You coming with the same thing on 2 weeks in a row. Get a new shirt.
I don't care.
I do think. I mean, I agree with. At the end of the day, though, I do agree. I don't think it's Islamophobia, but I think there are. I do remember watching that exchange with Salifu while I was sitting on the front porch in Panama, and I was thinking, damn, Diallo, that wasn't the approach necessary for that conversation with that particular group. But whatever, it's all good. There we go. Well done. And we went to the tape. Clarified.
Also, I don't think it's I'm glad you highlight that, Diallo, because I'm not talking about all Muslims or whoever. I'm talking particularly his comrades, and he's on the show with a Christian. And I'm just saying there's times when it's not called for. But go ahead, you can respond to this since you highlighted that, Diallo.
I'm gonna say like DMX said, "Are y'all niggas crazy?" My aggression towards Muslims. How much of the so-called Arab or Islamic world is colonized by African people? This is I hate having to have this conversation. Like I said, what did I say that was inaccurate or wrong. Was not the slavery, colonization, mutilation, murder, dehumanization, demonization. I'm just going off of what they did. It's crazy to me that I'm being aggressive by saying this imperialist, colonizer, racist religion should have to be held to account for its past and current ongoing crimes against African people.
So
what the hell? Y'all got low racial esteem. Let me tell you something.
Jared, let's start with you in terms of how do you define Islamophobe? And let's see if everybody got the same definition.
Yeah, and peace to my written voice.
What's your definition?
My definition of Islamophobia would be sort of the Orientalism, and in the language of Edward Said's work, for sure, but the irrational, racist, white supremacist, dehumanization and dismissal of Islam. But I distinguish that from where I hear and often agree with Diallo's foundation for the critique of the relationship of Islam and other religions to African people. So this is where so what I keep saying is, and it's similar to the other highlight the other comment, that when Goddess is saying this is, but I think in response to what I said about Diallo's approach being inappropriate to Salifu and others, is that she's saying it's his approach to all religious people. And I'm saying, and this is sort of what I would want to distinguish. What I'm talking about is the critique I think we need to be able to have among comrades in politicized spaces about the relationship of Islam to African people and others, and so on, and so, or religion to African people and others, and so on. That to me is different from a broader, for me, and general critique of religion in the world, and maybe how people in the world engage religion. So in other words, I think the conversation with comrades needs to be different. And I think that the critique of Islam in its history and its relationship with African people in particular is not the same as Islamophobia. Can it become? Perhaps, but in general, I don't think, I think there's a clear distinction. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, go ahead.
So I actually would have, and I think that's why I was wanting to know how Diallo would find, but I would actually kind of like take irrational out. But I do believe like having like this prejudiced position towards Muslims or people who practice Islam, or having this portrayal that there's some type of monolithic engagement for all Muslims. I think that's will be the problem. Because again, there are literally people who got your back, down for some shit, that just don't. Now you might call them bad religious people or bad Christians, but I don't know. You shake your head. Go ahead.
I know people that got my back that are Muslims. My two oldest brothers are both Muslims, and my father is a Muslim. And literally, I got people in my life that went to the mattress, pulling out gats on my behalf, fighting and shedding blood on my behalf. I have no doubts about that. But I also have people that I care deeply for that are pro-US, patriotic Americans, that are Christian, that are sexist. And I'm going to call that shit out, even if people who I hold dear, that I take personal, are a part of this dysfunctional or regressive mindset. Or
call out their beliefs and not their actions, right?
Or belief systems. Huh?
You say call out their beliefs and not their actions. You're not calling their actions though, right?
One of my best friends from childhood, when he was incarcerated and converted to Islam, and he rushed to tell me, I've converted to Islam. And my position, listen, any person, regardless of how I feel about them personally, conversion to Islam does not change the tenets or the historical impact or the contemporary political, economic, and cultural reality of Islam. So I don't care if I converted to Islam tomorrow. It does not change those facts that I articulate and that I stand on. Islam has been an engine of colonialism, sexism, and African enslavement and African dehumanization, almost from its inception, even though Islam was provided a refuge in Africa when it was at its most vulnerable. Islam is not the religion, the belief system, and the people who adhere to it have not. And all I'm doing is just telling the facts on it.
Let me ask you this, Diallo.
I don't support persecution of Muslims or any religious people. You've never heard me advocate for or support any organization or institution that is persecuting people for their religious belief. I believe that we should engage people in their beliefs and their values in the arena of debate, discourse, history, and the facts. That's where I engage people in my issues with religion. I do not try to disrupt people's access to worship and to what they want to believe and I don't run up in their holy places to disrupt. But I'll be goddamned if I'm going to allow myself to be silenced when these religious organizations, these religious institutions, and so much hard injustice is predicated by and justified by these delusions. So just as they're free to spread their word and to practice their faith, I'm free to call it out for what it is and condemn it for when it's doing wrong.
When it's doing
y'all
wrong.
here playing footsies with this shit.
No, see,
end up in a
why you want to get into the monologue? Why you got to get into the monologue?
And be like, we should have listened to Bro Diallo.
So again, I don't agree with that part. In this,
that's what I think. I think he get into a monologue and it's like press play and don't stop, and then all the things that he practiced.
Stop thinking and start listening.
Wait, what?
Stop thinking and start listening. That's exactly what they used to tell us in boot camp.
Exactly. Right. I'm trying to get y'all to be revolutionary soldiers on the front line.
Let me ask Diallo.
General Diallo.
You kind of answered the question in your monologue. Your monologue, you kind of answered the question, but so when you have people who have rituals that are important to their psychological well-being, do you find issues with them, and would you want them to adjust to your psychological comfort and not do rituals or these things? And this is what they feel they need to do.
And guess what? How to blood clot would I know they're doing rituals?
I mean, they can do it. They can do it wherever. They can do it at a community event. They can do it while they're around you.
But if they're doing it at a community event, then they're opening it up to community scrutiny. And I'm a member of the community.
Member of the community. You're a member of the community.
Yes. And so if you're doing your rituals in a community event, then I get to call it. I get to say something on it.
But so I'm saying it gives you psychological comfort to give them discomfort on what they need to.
No, it doesn't give me comfort. It is an obligation that I have taken upon myself because I am in a world that has several compounding oppressions under genocide. And so when I see powerful institutions and organizations and ideologies and belief systems that I believe that are harming my people specifically, but humanity in general, I take the obligation to speak to it, to tell the truth, and to give a voice to the people who are repressed and oppressed.
Tell the truth as you know it, right?
No, ain't no truth as I know it.
Oh, so
truth is truth. It's either true or false. So if I'm saying something that's not true about Islam, please correct me. And I will say, well, I was wrong about this. Anytime somebody can say,
this is what
Islam one thing is not true, then I will
one thing that I think, but one thing that you do say that I think is not true about Islam is that in the practice or hands of capable African revolutionaries, it has aided in some very helpful and progressive behavior and activity, and still does to this day. So it's that community I'm most interested in how you or I or any of us would engage. So again, I don't have much to disagree with about your fundamental basis of your critique. It's the aspect of it. It's very much the way I feel about when there's the critique of Africans engaging in with Marx and Lenin, or I just think it needs to be acknowledged that in certain spaces, at certain times, with certain communities, in certain contexts, politicized, it has been very helpful. So when engaging those people, I think it is just rude and unnecessary to come in with the condemnation of their core belief, even if you so that's
body language and audible language. But so let me ask you this question too. So how do you feel?
To what Jared said?
Sure. Then let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Huh?
Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead. I ask you a question afterwards.
You said that I'm wrong because, listen, you have to demonstrate to me that these black people did something conscious or revolutionary as a result of Islam or in spite of Islam. Because I know black people do good things while they're engaged in something that is not necessarily good or healthy. I know, like Malcolm X used to call John Henry Clark a swine eater. There's a bunch of black folks who eat pork and do good in the community. Does that make eating pork good? Because, I know pork, so I can't critique the chronic diseases and the ecological impact of consuming meat. Because there are meat eaters who do good. Yes, there are meat eaters who do good. There are Muslims who do good.
That's
there
ontology versus epistemology.
Might be engaged in or have some unhealthy or
ontology versus epistemology. Diallo.
I know a lot of good people in this community who do a lot of good shit and vote for Obama and really support Obama, and they doing really good work in Chicago, and they've been supporting Obama since he was a state senator. So,
but Diallo, you leave out, you misrepresent the Clark Malcolm. First of all, when Clark was saying that to Malcolm, he was saying it in the context of greeting his brother. Like, what's up, brother? My swine eater. He wasn't, and then they would build and move on. It wasn't Clark coming up on Malcolm in the context of condemning him for his Arabicized colonial enslaving belief system, that if he would just rid himself of it. So when you reference that comment, which I've heard often, because he tell the story often, Clark was very clear. It was in the context of greeting his brother in the same way family or friends who are close comrades and friends would joke with one another, but it wasn't done with hostility and in the way that you approached, for instance, Salifu that one morning, or others that in terms of the context of this show and how it's been discussed here. So that's an important distinction I think also needs to be
also ontologically, you have a better chance of proving that eating meat or pork is going to be bad for you than you do that their religious beliefs led them to wrong or right conclusions. Huh? What?
That's some bullshit. The historical record is very clear. No. I said of religion and adherence to religion.
Tell me what I just said. If it's bullshit, tell me what I said, because I swear you just heard something else.
You just said that ontologically, I would be better off trying to prove how harmful pork is than adhering to pick your religious delusion. No. See, I know that you didn't hear me. So again, a Salifu, a Jackie Lukman, a Malcolm X, I could just name them off. Okay,
for you to be able to say their religion didn't do shit for them and help them come to the conclusion.
I didn't say that. Did I ever say that?
That's what it sounds like you say.
I didn't say that religion didn't do shit for them. I said, can you prove that their religion was the impetus for the good works that they did?
You would have to ask them, and they'll tell you. Sophia Bakari,
and they did tell us.
Anyway, so this is my question.
Diallo, did you watch the video where we talked to Daruba about the day he got out of jail?
Diallo would call that BS.
I want to call it BS. Daruba, I think, wants to call it BS. But I'm just saying, so to that point though, Diallo, like, people do believe that these moments of engagement with a particular religion or belief system are the impetus for this or that good thing or this or that behavior. So